Hey everyone, here's a quick Q&A for today. We're going to cover in Bitkey, how do you re-invite a trusted contact? How do you set up a Bitcoin debit card? How do you get access for your loved ones to get access to your Bitcoin? And some bonus content on the latest feature releases of Bitkey, the hardware device. All right, let's start with number one. In Bitkey, how do you re-invite a trusted contact? So to recap, Bitkey is the best way to secure Bitcoin for long-term storage. So the three things we're going to talk about today are Bitcoin, the actual cryptocurrency, Bitkey, the best way to store it long-term, and Coinbase, which is the company that is the best company for buying and selling Bitcoin, although you can buy and sell Bitcoin directly on the Bitkey device, if you want to do that as well. All right, so question number one. In Bitkey, how do you re-invite a trusted contact? Well, I printed out the instructions. Step one, you go to the upper right-hand corner for the little settings box, and you click the settings box, which will bring you to this screen with all the settings. You go down there to Trusted Contacts, and you click on that, which will bring you to the next page, which goes in Trusted Contacts. It gives you the option to invite somebody. So you just click the Invite button, and it says, add people you trust to securely recover your wallet in case of lost access. You click Invite, and it takes you to the last screen, which is enter your trusted contact's name. The reason you enter this is so that you can remember who they are. It says so you can remember who you set as your trusted contact. So if you invited somebody and it got messed up somehow, no problem. Just do the invite process a second time, enter their name again. If you, invited person A, just push, type in person A, parentheses, second try, or something like that. Anyway, but it's as easy as that. And then on the very next screen, it will bring up a prompt to share the key code with them. And you can send it by text message or Signal or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or just any secure mechanism. And you can send them that link and they can accept it in their own Bitkey device, their own Bitkey app. They'll need the Bitkey app on their phone. They can accept it and then they can be a trusted contact. What are trusted contacts? They are people that can help you unlock your Bitcoin if you lose your phone and your Bitkey hardware little device at the same time. If you somehow lose both of them simultaneously, then your trusted contact can help you still get access to your Bitcoin by giving you an unencryption key that you can use to get access to a backup in your iCloud account. It does not give them access to any of your Bitcoin. It only gives them a key that you can use to gain access to your Bitcoin via your iCloud account, which obviously you still need access to your iCloud account, but the probability that you're going to lose your phone, your Bitkey device, and be permanently locked out or banned with all the content deleted from your Apple iCloud account all at the same time, I don't know that that's actually ever happened to anyone anywhere in the world. Okay. So that is how you do it. You go through the process as if you were adding them as a trusted contact the first time. Also, if you have Bitkey, make sure you have trusted contacts. Even though the probability that you are going to lose your phone and your Bitkey device simultaneously is extremely low. I mean, literally, this would have to be you drive to Verizon or AT&T or C-Spire to turn in your old phone. You forgot to put Bitcoin on your new phone. You turn in your old phone. They wipe it clean. And then on your way back, your house burns down and your Bitkey device was in it and it's a smoldering wreck and there's nothing left. Then you better have a trusted contact, because if you have a trusted contact, you're good. Now, if I know you, if you and I have met multiple times in real life and I know you personally, I know what you look like, I know how you sound, I am happy to personally be a trusted contact for you, but only if you are somebody that I have met multiple times and I can clearly authenticate that you are you. The whole purpose of a trusted contact is to make sure that nobody can scam you. And so you want your trusted contacts to be people who can actually recognize you and say, yes, that is you. And I'm not dealing with a scammer or somebody who is impersonating you, because, if, for example, if I was one of your trusted contacts and you needed my services because you lost your phone and your house burned down simultaneously, I would want to get together face to face, make sure you're not under duress, make sure there's nothing wrong, understand what went wrong. Anyway, I would want to very, very, very much authenticate that you are the real you, that you're not under duress, that nobody's impersonating you, that nobody's making you do it, Anyway, so in order to do that, I obviously have to know who you are, and you and I need to know each other. But if that's the case and you don't have a better trusted contact like a son or daughter or spouse or loved one or, cryptocurrency fanatic friend you trust, whatever. That's probably a better trusted contact than me. But if you don't have any of those, I'm happy to be your trusted contact. All right. Question number 2. How do you set up a Bitcoin debit card? The answer is the only good one I'm aware of is Coinbase, and the website is coinbase.com/card. Or you can go in the Coinbase mobile app, and in the little settings box in the upper left-hand corner on the home screen, you click it, and it's got a drop-down with a bunch of different aspects of Bitcoin. One of those is card. So if you go into the Coinbase mobile app, go into the settings and look through all the different options, the little icons that let you go here, there, and everywhere. One of those says card. And if you can't find it, text me or message me on Facebook, and I will send you a screenshot of exactly where it is. But if you want to go directly there from the URL, it is coinbase.com/card, C-A-R-D, coinbase.com/card. And that will guide you through the setup process. They will send you in the mail a Coinbase card, which looks like, I will pull mine out, which looks like this. And as soon as you have the Coinbase debit card, you can buy anything in the world with the chip inside, or Apple Pay, or Google Pay, or, anything. You can link this to literally any payment service. You can shove it in ATMs anywhere in the world. You can do anything you want with it. So Coinbase debit card, the way to get it is coinbase.com/card, or you can access that within the mobile app. All right, number 3, how can my loved ones get access to my Bitcoin and Bitkey? 2 ways. One, if your Bitcoin is on Coinbase, it works just like a bank. If you get hit by a bus, your loved one would go to Coinbase. They would say, hey, my loved one got hit by a bus. Just like with your bank, they would have to prove that you actually passed away or something bad happened. They would have to prove that they are the next of kin. There's a whole process. The world has long since worked out how do loved ones get access to bank accounts when someone gets hit by a bus. So if it's on Coinbase, it works exactly the same way, where you just go through the process just like it's a bank, and you say, hey, these funds are really mine. My loved one passed away. You got to, show a death certificate or whatever, and they got a whole process to transfer ownership of the account. And then once they do that, the Bitcoin in the Coinbase account becomes the owner of the new person. Okay, so what if it's on Bitkey? Okay, on Bitkey, in order for your loved one to have access to your Bitcoin, they need a few things. One, they need access to your phone. Now, they could do this a variety of different ways, but I'm saying they'll need access to one or more of these things. So you may want to let your loved one know what the passkey for your phone is, so that they have the ability to unlock your phone. If you get hit by a bus, they're going to need the ability to unlock your phone. If your phone gets hit by a bus at the same time, then we'll need the ability to, they'll need the ability to have access to your iCloud account with one of your trusted contacts, for example. But anyway, that whole process, somehow through that process, they will need access to, your stuff. So if that's your phone, make sure they have access to your passcode of your phone. Also on the Bitkey device itself, in the settings, it lets you set up fingerprints for more than one person. So on the device screen, I think it's on the device screen. Yeah, you scroll down to, in the settings to Bitkey device. And on the bottom of the Bitkey device screen is fingerprints. And you click fingerprints and it will let you save up to 3 fingerprints. So if you have a lot of Bitcoin on your Bitkey device, just make sure your loved one, if they are local, that their fingerprint is one of the fingerprints that will unlock your Bitkey device. So if they know the passcode to your phone, and if their fingerprint works in your Bitkey device, then they can send Bitcoin to themselves, their own Coinbase account, or they can go do whatever they need to do, just like you can do. Now, if your concern is, but wait, if they can do that, why can't a hacker do that? Well, one, a hacker should never have physical access to your phone where they're holding your phone and they know your passcode. Like if that's happening, you have a problem. And if that is happening and they have your Bitkey device and their fingerprint works on your Bitkey device, well, obviously you have serious problems. But it's virtually impossible for a hacker to get all of that to happen. So I don't consider it a security. Obviously, there's no security issue. Somebody's got to have a passkey for your phone, or a PIN number or whatever, a passcode for your phone. Somebody's got to know the passcode. You know it, so your loved one should be able to know it as well. And if your fingerprint unlocks your Bitkey device, there shouldn't be a problem with their fingerprint unlocking your Bitkey device. And if you have a lot of Bitcoin, your Bitkey device ought to be stored in a safe deposit box or a gun safe of a friend or somewhere where they know where it is and where it's not easy to get to. So that under duress, if somebody shows up, somebody under duress tries to force you to do it, you want to say, we can't go where that is. If it's at a safe deposit box in a bank, I'm sorry, we can't go. The bank's not open. And if it is open, they got armed security. So nobody wants to follow you through armed security to go get your Bitkey device. So anyway, just make sure that your loved one, their fingerprint is one of the fingerprints that will unlock the Bitkey device, and make sure that they know the PIN code to your iPhone or Android phone or whatever, so that they can have access to that. As long as those two things work, then they can use Bitkey just like you can. And in the event that your phone gets run over by the same bus that hits you, then they could use the Bitkey device with a new phone after a 7-day waiting period, and they would just need to have access to your Apple iCloud account. But again, in a situation where you get hit by a bus, Apple will transfer your iCloud account over to a loved one. You just have to go through the whole process to make sure that it's not a scammer who's doing it. And but anyway, if your phone gets run over and your Bitkey device gets run over, well, you are really up a creek. But as long as you have trusted contacts, then your loved one would just need to have access to your iCloud account. They would go in, they would get access to your trusted contacts. They would log into Bitkey with a new phone. They would start the recovery process. They would go through the trusted contacts process. And after a 7-day waiting period, the trusted contact would authenticate that indeed you are the loved one, that indeed your, the person who owned the Bitcoin did indeed get run over by a bus. They are gone, and that you are the loved one who deservedly inherits the Bitcoin. And once your trusted contact has verified all of that, and after a 7-day waiting period has gone by, then your loved one will have access to that Bitcoin. But the easiest way to make that as seamless as possible is just to make sure your loved one is one of the 3 fingerprints that will unlock your Bitkey device, and that they have the ability to unlock your phone if you get run over by a bus and your phone is still operational. And if the whole Bitkey thing just makes you uncomfortable, just keep your Bitcoin on Coinbase. It's whatever your comfort level is. Obviously, the optimal is what is most secure and gives you the most control. But, this is like somebody saying, well, I only feel comfortable when my US dollar money is buried in a safe in my backyard. It's like, well, that's a lot of work. Not everybody wants to dig a huge hole in their yard and bury a safe. But if that's what you want to do with your US dollars, well, that's right for you. But a lot of people are like, no, I think a bank is good enough. I think the trouble is, it's not worth it to dig a huge hole and bury a safe. So don't let anybody tell you that you're doing it the wrong way. If your comfort level is you just want to keep it on Coinbase and that's your comfort level, that's fine. It's not quite as secure and it's not quite as in your control as Bitkey. But if Bitkey sort of freaks you out and makes you feel uncomfortable and you don't really feel like you understand it or you get it, then don't use something you don't feel like you understand or that you get, because you might use it wrong. That being said, Bitkey is really, completely foolproof, idiot-proof, child-proof. Bitkey is great. So if, once you set up Bitkey, as long as you have trusted contacts set up, at least one or more trusted contacts, there's really no way to lose your Bitcoin. It's almost just completely unimaginable that you could lose your Bitcoin as long as you have trusted contacts set up. Just the scenario where that would have to happen is just almost really unimaginable. Again, you'd have to lose your phone and your Bitkey device, and your Apple iCloud account would have to be permanently deleted all at the same time, all completely unrecoverable. And the probability that that's going to happen, that Apple's going to delete your iCloud account and it'll go away forever, and you lose your phone, and you lose your Bitkey device all simultaneously, that's just basically never going to happen. And if any one of those 3 doesn't happen, if you have your phone, you can still you can get go through a recovery process and get a new Bitkey device. If you still have your Bitkey device, you can go through a recovery process and get a new phone. So if you have either one of those, you can, replace the other with a 7-day waiting period. If you lose both of those, but you still have access to your Apple iCloud account, or you can get access to your Apple. Anyway, so that is that. And then bonus item I figured I'd throw in here, in addition to answering those questions. So we answered in Bitkey, how do I reinvite a trusted contact? Same way you did the first time. Just, call it a different name because it won't let you use the same name twice. And how do you get a Coinbase debit card? It's coinbase.com/card. And how can your loved ones get access to your Bitcoin? The answer is on Coinbase, the exact same way as a bank. And on Bitkey, they have even more ways to unlock the Bitcoin in a tough situation. All right, so as a bonus, I figured I would include some highlights of the latest features in Bitkey. All right, so one of them is transfer without hardware. They used to have a $200 limit on this, and I don't know what they called it, but they rebranded it where there's no limit. So however much Bitcoin you have, you can set a daily limit of any amount. So you can say, look, at any given time, I want to be able to transfer 5,000. Or I don't know, $200, and it would just take you, I don't know, what is that, 10 days or however long it takes to move $1,000 at, $100 a piece a day would be 10 days. So they eliminated the transfer limit. You can now set it up to transfer any amount without the Bitkey device. Obviously, you don't want that amount to be too high. Otherwise, if somebody somehow compromises something, they could drain your account without you noticing. And you want it low enough that would take a long time for a hacker, even though Bitkey is so secure that I really can't imagine that happening. Next, and if you never move it off of Bitkey, or if you never sell Bitcoin, it's not taxable. You don't pay tax on Bitcoin until you sell it into US dollars or some other local currency. But if you use Bitkey a lot and have a reason to move it on or off Bitkey for whatever reasons, you can now get your transaction history if you need to for tax purposes. But again, for tax purposes, you only need to worry about selling Bitcoin. You are not taxed on Bitcoin. I can buy a Bitcoin on Coinbase and I can transfer it back and forth to Bitkey. Next up, this is not a new feature, but for recovery methods, make sure that you've enabled, you have to enable email by default, but make sure push notifications are also enabled. That way, if somebody tries to start a recovery process on Bitkey, that you'll get push notifications of that, and that's more secure. So under recovery methods, just make sure they are all enabled. The one that you cannot enable in the United States is SMS for text messages, because US law requires them to have permission of the device owner, and the nature of the transaction history is now downloadable, and the recovery methods just make sure push notifications is enabled on there. And even though they added the feature a little while ago, it now supports up to 3 fingerprints, so that you and loved ones can be on there, or you can have more than one of your fingerprints on there if you work in some sort of job where you might lose a finger on a random day. But again, if you do, so what? It's a seven-day waiting period, and you can recover and set up a new fingerprint. So anyway, that's the highlights. Hopefully it helps. And not dealing with a scam account. Although I upgraded to like professional version on Facebook, which is supposed to make them suppress scam accounts more effectively than they used to. So hopefully that helps. Always here to help on any front. Thanks, everyone.